is my presentation on the Miss America protest by me, Lexi Rowley. The Miss America pageant was a celebrated event since the early 1920s. It was a contest between women between each state on their talents, outfits, personalities, but it was mainly about their looks. The pageant had pictured women in a very demeaning way. Having them parade in swimsuits and dresses wasn't what most American women wanted. They didn't like being viewed as this kind of object. They felt as though it was completely sexist, as it was teaching little girls that the way to win was to be sexy, superficial, get a man, and be somewhat talented. They also thought it was wrong that these pageants were forcing these winners to go to Vietnam and entertain the troops. They viewed the pageant as racist, as even though women of color were not explicitly excluded, there hadn't been a contestant of color since 1970. A small group of women in New York who called themselves the New York Radical Women. They had gotten together and realized they were sick and tired of this sexist, racist, and capitalist event and decided to put a stop to it. Large groups of women had gathered outside of the pageant on the Atlantic City boardwalk. There were people from all over the country gathering to protest, including black and white, women of all different ages. Even some men turned up with their wives to show their support. Most of the protesters were harassed by men who passed by, calling them lesbians, commies, crazy witches, and so much more. One of the main ways they had protested was they created this thing called the Freedom Trash Can. They used this trash can to throw away everything that they felt had tied them down. They threw in dresses, skirts, heels, cleaning supplies, cooking utensils, things needed to take care of their babies, and even their bras. Later, the media would create this rumor that they burned their bras to make them sound crazy, but in actuality, they never did. One of the other ways they protested the pageant was they rented out a sheep. They rented out the sheep so they could represent the way the contestants were being paraded around. They even dressed it up to make it look like it was a contestant itself. One of the big ways they had shown their disgust was using the fact that it was televised live to their advantage. Some of the protest creators had snuck into the pageant with a banner hidden underneath their clothes. They got on a balcony that they knew was in view of the camera and revealed the banner that read, "Women's Liberation." This photo would later become famous and one of the reasons why this protest was known. The New York Radical Women's main goal was to criticize the sexism and racism of the pageant, and it worked. After the pageant, a group of women put on the first ever Miss Black America pageant, highlighting all the contestants of color who weren't allowed to participate in the regular pageant. Also, after that protest, the pageant curators decided to take out the swimsuit section of the show. Even the director of the pageant got removed due to its sexist and racist policies. Now, while the Miss America protest didn't fix all the problems of sexism within our culture, it impacted it a bit. After the protest, lots of women joined activist groups to start solving the issues of today. The pageant itself has now decided to pride itself on what the contestants have done with social advocacy, what they do for others, while still including talents anywhere, instead of just focusing on who's the prettiest and who has the best body. The protest had shown many girls who grew up around the pageant world or grew up in a household that held the traditional standards that they didn't need to play into these stereotypes. That's it. Thanks for watching.